All right. Good morning. Just getting set up here. And I think that's it. Oops. Too close. That'll be good. Okay. Morning. So, listen to your body and do what feels good for you. I'll give you some suggestions, some offerings, but really listen in and feel good about it. And we're going to start on our backs in Shavasana. So come to lying back on your back, on your mat in Shavasana to get started. I'll meet you there in just 1 second. So, lying down, getting comfy, feeling good. I wanted to do sort of a feel-good flow. It's feeling a little bit low energy, but all the cues. A little bit of that. Feel good in your body, feel good in yourself to find some motivation to do what you love. So, lying down on your backs. I'll give you some options for what feels good with your breath. You can put one hand in your belly and one hand over your heart. And as you start to inhale, expand through that lower hand on the belly. Fill up from the belly first. And then let it seep into the chest, all the way up to the collarbones, expanding your whole front body. And then exhaling in reverse from the chest first and belly last. You can do this a couple times. Inhaling from the belly, up into the chest. Hold for a second, and then release from the chest, down into the belly. Inhaling from the belly, up into the chest. Exhale from the chest, down into the belly. And you can keep that 3-part yoga breath, is what it's called. Expanding from the lower parts, the lower portion of your body to really expand up fully all the way up into your body. Or you can start activating some of your Ujjayi breaths. Another technique, like you're fogging up a mirror. Let's take a nice breath in. Open your mouth and fog up glass in front of you. And keeping that sound in the back of the throat. On this next time, we'll take a big inhale. Exhale, open mouth, halfway close. Closing your mouth halfway on that exhale. You start to feel what it's like to have that sound in the back of the throat with your mouth closed. We'll do that one more time together. Keeping your mouth closed the whole time. And sticking to whatever breath that you want. Whatever feels best in your body, whatever feels good. You can start to move the fingers and the toes, moving at the elbows and the knees. Doing whatever movements you need to do. Tuning in what feels good. If you need to stay here for your practice, that's your prerogative. You can do what you need. But tune into yourself and really make sure you know what that means, what you would be missing out on. So maybe starting to bend the knees. Maybe if you're ready, hug your knees into your chest for a little Apanasana here. Maybe roll back forward, start massaging out that back. And then straighten out your left leg along on the ground. And keep your right knee to your chest. And flex both feet. Flex your left foot, the toes facing back towards your face. And we'll do a little bit of some circles here. Start circling that knee around the hip socket. Should feel pretty juicy here as we're just getting started to move. And then come back to stillness, pulling it in, maybe to your shoulder this time instead of right in your chest. Feeling a little bit of a pinch in the hip, but if it's too intense, pull back. Do what feels good. And then cross that right knee across your body. You can grab your right knee with your left hand. And then cross over your body to come into a twist. Bringing your right knee to the ground over your left side of your body. And your knee doesn't have to come down any amount. It can be a nice gap. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Try to reach both shoulders down to the ground. Maybe reach your right arm long back behind you. Seeing if you can find the twist from your middle back. And keep your left hand here for some weight. Keeping that knee from popping up if you need more, or just have it out to the side. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. Using whatever breath you would like, 3-part or Ujjayi. Last one. And then start to hug that right knee back into your chest, flop it over back to center. One last little hug. And then go ahead and grab your right ankle, flexing both feet, and plant it anywhere along that left leg, planting the sole of your foot maybe on the left thigh or the left calf further down. Wherever you are, just don't press it into your knee, because as you press the sole of your foot into your leg, keep that knee popped up and bring your hands to your hips. Pressing your foot into your leg here, and allow your knee to open up any amount. It shouldn't touch the ground though, so let it open up a little bit. Put your hands on your hips and feel both hip bones so that they're even with one another. See if you can find that numbness and move your knee accordingly. We're doing tree on the ground, supine tree. I guess this would be considered log. And then maybe if you want to grow your branches, you can reach your hands over your head. Really engage that left leg like you're standing on the wall in front of you. And if you have your arms overhead, start to feel your rib cage. Can you get your lower back ribs more even with each other, closer to the ground? Stay in here for 2 more breaths. Maybe reaching your hands further away from your body. Let your arms touch your ears, maybe. Let your shoulders fall away. Finding what feels good. And then go ahead and bring the knee back to center and straighten it out. Straighten both legs out, give it a little wiggle. And then hug both knees into your chest. Make a little rock side to side as we go into the other side. Reaching that right leg long out in front of you. Bringing your left knee into your chest, flexing both feet. Maybe cracking an ankle. Flexing both feet, maybe hugging that knee into your chest. And then find some movement that feels good for you. Maybe circling that left knee out one direction. And maybe switching it around, switch it to the other direction. And then hug that knee back into your chest, maybe towards your left elbow instead of the middle of your chest. Hugging it over to the side. Really engage both legs, stamping that right leg onto the wall in front of you. Then go ahead and grab your left knee with your right hand and cross that knee across your body, coming into a twist, reaching that left arm back behind you, trying to keep both shoulders on the ground as you use your hand to guide that left knee over your body. You can keep the weight of the hand there if you need a little extra support, a little extra weight, or reach out long. Make sure this feels good. Your knee doesn't have to come all the way down. It shouldn't come all the way down as we're just warming up right now. And tuning in, seeing if it feels good anywhere in particular along your back. If you're feeling extra stiff somewhere, just make note. One more breath here. Come back through center. Bring that knee into your chest, lying on your back. Flexing both feet so much here. You're going to bring your right hand to that left ankle. And then plant the left sole of the foot along the inside of that right leg. On the calf or the thigh, avoiding the knee, because we're going to press that sole of the leg, flex that right leg so strong, standing on the wall in front of you, and then bring your hands to the front hip bones, and let your knee fall out any amount here, keeping it off the ground, seeing if you can let it fall out enough that both hips are level with one another. Play around here, see if you can find evenness. Your knee could just be straight up towards the ceiling, or let it fall out any amount. And take note here, flexing both feet, having both legs strong, and feeling where you feel centered on your back will help you when we come into tree pose later. Standing. Notice that your knee is not coming out all the way. We're focusing more on the hips being centered than just letting the knee fall out away from the body. But you can play around here, let it fall out and bring it back in, finding what feels good. Maybe growing our tree branches, arms overhead. Maybe grabbing either thumbs, locking at the thumbs, and pressing your arms up and away from you. Maybe your upper arms touch your ears as your shoulders fall away from your ears. Growing here. Taking 2 more breaths. Bring your arms back in, using that as hands to bring your left knee into your body. And go ahead and bring that right knee in. Hugging your knees in together one more time. And we'll reach our legs out long in front of us. We'll warm up the core here for a moment. Going to hover your arms first. Engage the legs. Flex in the feet and start to bring the legs up, making sure that your lower back doesn't arch off the ground here. And start to bring your chest and shoulders up. Everything is hovering over the ground for a moment. And then release. We'll do this one more time. Coming into low boat, hover everything up. And then if you're ready, you can come up into high boat, reaching your chest and your legs up off the ground. Only the fleshy part of your butt, sits bones, touch the ground. Or you can stay in low boat and then just bring the knees into the chest and rock and roll up to seated. We'll meet rolling over seated into tabletop position. Moving as slow or fast, this feels good for you. Pressing both hands into the ground. And just spending that time to notice what feels best for your body. Maybe it's having your fingers face forward, which is the traditional tabletop position. But know that traditional poses and asanas don't necessarily fit every single body. So maybe spin your fingers out slightly. How does that feel? Does that give you more broadness across the collarbones, openness through the back and the chest? Pressing the tops of the feet into the ground and the knees into the ground. Or if it feels better for you, maybe tucking the toes. Whatever feels best. Give yourself a moment to tune in and to feel in without judgment and making some adjustments. We'll go through a few cat-cows. So finding that comfortable tabletop position, reaching your tailbone and your head away from each other, finding a long spine here. And then as you inhale, reaching your chest through your arm, your tailbone to the sky. Inhale, expand through the belly. And then exhale, round your back to the sky. Exhale, squeezing out all that air. Inhale through cow, reaching your chest forward, tailbone up, expanding through the belly, and then inhale. And then exhale, dome your back to the sky, squeeze out that air. 2 more times. Inhaling through cow, expanding through the belly. Exhaling through cat, rounding your back to the sky. Last turn. Inhaling cat, expanding through the belly. And then exhaling cat. Coming back to stillness. Maybe adjusting a little bit more to feel like you're a stable table. And then maybe reaching that left leg long behind you. Maybe tucking those toes under for a little bit of a calf stretch before reaching the heel up level with your hips. Left leg reaching back behind us. Reaching your right arm maybe in line with your ear here. Finding stability from the core. The balance doesn't start with your hand and knee that's connected on the ground. It starts from your core. Finding that balance from the center part of your body, and then finding stability in your base. Holding here for bird dog. And then reach your right hand back down to the ground. Bending at the knee here, your left knee. And go ahead and reach it out to the side and start making just some circles. Giving your hip that space for a little movement. Circling your right hip out to the side like your dog taking a pee. Circling it around. And then go the other direction. Give yourself some hip circles. Starting to bring some movement. And then when you're ready, bring that knee back down to the ground, and we'll go into the other side. Tucking those right toes under, straightening that leg back behind you. Maybe a little bit of calf stretch before engaging that leg, reaching it up to level with your hips. Flexing that foot back, toes facing the ground. Maybe reaching your left arm out to the front, upper arm in line with your ear. A little bird dog here. Finding that stability from your core, from your center. One more breath. And release your hand to the ground. Bend your knee and start making some circles with your knee. Maybe bringing your knee in and then taking it out. Changing direction with your circles here. And then bring your both knees back to the ground. Maybe bring your toes to touch, knees slightly apart, and sit back in child's pose, reaching your arms away from your body, pressing into your hands so much that your elbows lift off the ground. Taking a breath here. And then starting to shift your weight forward, tucking those toes under, reaching your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Hands shoulder width distance apart, feet hips width distance apart. Reaching those arms away from your shoulders, pressing your hands to the ground. Bending a long spine here. Bending your knees in your first down dog to reach your spine long, your hips away from you. And then if you'd like, start to straighten those legs. Energize through the thighs. Whatever feels good for you. One more breath here. And then look in between your hands. And start to walk your feet up to meet your hands, waking up those hamstrings. Slowly try to get your heels to step first before your toes. And then once your feet are close to your hands, go ahead and fold here. Find a nice generous bend in your knees. Really folding at the hips. Let your belly touch your thighs. Let your head hang heavy before working to straighten those legs. Holding here and grabbing opposite elbows for ragdoll. Letting your torso be heavy. Maybe engaging more through the legs. Shake your head, yes. Shake it no. Release those hands down to the ground. Maybe roll up to standing exactly one vertebrae at a time. One on top of the other until you come up to standing. Head floats up last. Coming up to Tadasana, or mountain pose, standing at the front of the mat. Pressing your feet into the ground. Your toes can touch, or your feet can be hips width distance apart. Finding what feels good for your body, which respects your hips. Reaching and planting your feet to the ground, engaging through the legs, releasing those butt muscles so that you can reach your low ribs and hip bones closer together as you broaden across the chest. Reaching those arms down alongside your body. Let your head float above the stacked spine. Close your eyes here for a moment and feel balance. And feel where the balance is coming from. It's not necessarily in the feet, what's above the feet. And then inhale. Circle your arms out and up overhead, keeping your torso where it is. Reach the arms up overhead. And then exhale, bend your knees slightly, hinging at the hips, holding forward. Halfway lift, bringing your torso in line with the ground. Fingertips to the shins. And then exhale and refold over those legs. Inhaling, circling your arms out and up as you come up to standing arms overhead. And then exhale, hands through center and down along by your sides. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, circling those arms out and up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, circling those arms out and up, coming up through standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down by your side. 1 more time. Inhaling, circling those arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinging forward, folding. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, release your hands down by your side, coming to standing. Moving on, inhaling the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, folding forward, bending your knees to do so. Planting your hands on the ground. And stepping your left foot back behind you. Driving the knee here for a low lunge. Right foot in front. Just shift your weight forward and back and side to side. Feeling, tuning in, finding that right option for you. Do you want your hips back slightly for more stability? Or do you need your hips forward for more of a front thigh stretch, hip flexor stretch? Finding whatever works for you. Coming up to your fingertips, reaching your chest forward. Maybe bringing your hands on top of your right thigh. Bringing your chest upright. Maybe bringing your arms in line with your ears, reaching your hands up to the sky. Taking a few breaths here. Really finding that stability from the hips here. Reaching those hips in towards one another. Finding stability from the hips, it's not from the foot. Reaching those hips in towards one another, engage the core to protect the lower back, to reach your torso upright even more. If you need a little bit of a back bend, supporting your low back, seeing if your arms can help you reach back slightly. Not too much, we're just getting started. And then exhale, plant your hands. Bring that right knee in line with your left knee, shifting forward and bringing your belly down to the ground. Bringing your arms in line with your body, reaching your hands back to your legs. Maybe bringing your right cheek to the mat. Setting up for locust here. Pressing the tops of your feet into the ground, hips at distance. Pressing your hip bones into the ground to reach your head off the ground. Heel the chest off the ground. Inhaling here, maybe reaching those arms off the ground, reaching them back behind you. If you need more, reach your legs up back behind you, floating here. Inhaling and exhaling, hold. Feeling like a locust, hungry for grain. And then exhale, release your hands and your legs. Maybe turn the other side of your left cheek onto the ground. Planting your hands underneath your shoulders. Shifting your hips up and back through child's pose. And then tucking those toes under, shifting forward and back to your downward facing dog. Looking forward in between your hands and start to walk slowly. See if you can get the heel down first before the toes until your feet meet your hands. Inhaling for half lift, come up halfway, bring your fingertips to your shins, and exhale, fold. Inhaling up to standing, long spine, bending your knees to do so. Bring your arms up overhead, and then exhale, hands down by your side. Inhale, circle your arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge your hips, folding forward. Inhaling for that half lift, and then plant your hands and step your right foot back, keeping your left foot framed with your hands here. Go ahead and drop that right knee, untuck those right toes, or keep them tucked. Find what works for you. Shifting your weight forward and back, finding that place in the hips. You need more openness through the front of the right hip. Finding some stability. Finding what feels good in your body. And then coming up to the fingertips. Reaching your chest forward, finding a long spine here. Maybe coming up, bringing your hands to your left thigh. Maybe pressing that knee away slightly. Finding a little bit of openness before finding more stability. Reaching those hips, the outer hips in towards one another, towards your midline. Then maybe reaching those arms up overhead once you find that stability and holding here in a low lunge. Breathing. Reaching your arms up overhead, releasing those shoulders away from your ears. If you need a bit of a back bend, support your low back with your abdominals. Reaching your chest up to the sky. Maybe your arms back behind you slightly. And then exhale. Go ahead and plant those hands on either side of your foot. Bringing your right knee back to meet your left. Shifting forward, coming all the way down to your belly. Bringing your fingertips in line with your nipples here. We're going to come up into your choice of low cobra or upward facing dog. We'll start with low cobra, pressing the tops of your feet into the ground. Start to reach your chest up. Roll those shoulders away from your ears and down your back. reaching those elbows down towards your back pockets. Reach your chest up here, maybe hover the hands for your low cobra. If you need more, pressing into the hands and the tops of the feet as the only things that touch the ground, reaching yourself up into upper facing dog. Your chest forward, your shoulders above the wrists. Feet and hands are the only things touching the ground, reaching your chest forward, rolling your shoulders down your back. And then wherever you are, exhaling back, shifting back to downward facing dog. Through child's pose if you're in one cobra, and just up and back. Taking a breath here, find some stillness. Inhale, look forward in between your hands, and you can step up, you can walk up, or if you want, if you're feeling energized, go ahead and jump your feet to meet your hands. Inhale for that half lift, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms overhead. And exhale, release your hands down by your side. Inhale, you reach your arms out and up. Exhale, folding forward. Planting your hands on either side of your right foot. Go ahead and step that left foot back. And then plant the heel of that left foot, setting up for warrior two. Bringing those left toes in slightly at an angle. Lining up your right heel with your left arch. Making sure those right toes are facing the front of the room, short edge of the front mat. Your knee directly over your ankle here. Finding some strength and stability, and then maybe circling your left arm coming up to warrior two. Engaging through that front leg, wrapping that right thigh underneath of you, and engaging, pressing through that back left leg. Reach your arms up to a T in line with your shoulders. Holding here for warrior two. Maybe looking over those right fingertips. Maybe take a moment to reach your palms of your hands up to the sky, releasing your shoulders down your back. And then flip them back over. Staying here for another breath. And then release your left hand to your thigh or back behind your thigh, and turn those right palms up to the sky. Reach that arm up and over, coming into a reverse warrior. Finding length in the chest, maybe turning your chest more to the front to find length and openness. Let that back hand be light on the leg, finding if you can find some more length through the side body. And then exhale, back to warrior two. Bringing that right forearm to your right thigh, reaching that left arm to the sky, pulling to side angle, reaching it maybe overhead in line with your ear, if it's already with your shoulder, reaching that shoulder away, pressing into that front right knee, into here, keeping your stance strong here, maybe looking up, past your armpit up to the sky. And then inhale back through warrior two. Go ahead and straighten that front right leg. Bring your hands to your hips. Make sure the weight is in the big toe side of the foot. Finding a micro bend in that right knee, or engaging the calf here to support the knee from hyperextending. Bring your hands to your hips and notice what happens if you try to bring your hips level with one another. And then go ahead and let your left hip pop out slightly. We're coming into triangle pose here. Reach your arms out long, side to side. Reaching that right arm over your right foot. Letting the back of your right hand find pressing into that right leg. Reaching your left arm to the sky here. Can you twist your chest open? Pressing still strong through both legs. Inhaling here. And exhaling here. On your next inhale, reaching up through that left arm to come all the way up through standing. Bring your hands to your hips and turn this entire right leg in so that your feet are parallel with one another. Pressing into your feet to keep your torso upright, maybe interlacing your fingers behind your back. Pressing the heels of your hands together and keeping your elbows bent as we come into this pose. Bend the knees slightly to start hinging forward at the hips, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Maybe reaching those hands away from your lower back, but can you keep the heels of your hands connected and the elbows slightly bent? Finding that stretch in the shoulders. Breathing here. One more breath. And then exhale, release your hands down to the mat. Coming up, half lift up onto your fingertips. And then bring your hands to your hips. All the way up through standing. Going to turn that left leg all the way out to the left. Bringing your left heel in line with your right arch. Turning those right toes in slightly. Bending through that left knee, coming into warrior two on the left side. Keeping your hands on your hips for a moment, can you bring your torso upright out of your hips? Trying to notice if your torso is shifting forward or back. Trying to make sure it's coming straight out of the hips and straight up to the sky. Then reaching your arms out to the side and line with your shoulders. Maybe looking over those left fingertips. Breathing here. Stacking your left knee over your left heel, wrapping that left butt underneath you. Standing strong in your warrior two. For another breath. Go ahead and let your right hand fall to the back side of your right thigh. Reach that left arm, palm face up to the sky, up overhead for reverse warrior. Maybe start to reach your chest forward to the front of the room, back of the room, I guess. Inhale here, expanding through the chest, light on those back fingertips. You could reach that hand off that leg without changing anything. And then inhale. Back through warrior two. Bend that left elbow. Plant your elbow on the left thigh. And reach that right arm up to the sky. Coming into side angle. Maybe turning that palm towards your face and reaching the arm up overhead in line with your ear. Releasing the shoulder away from the ear so that you can try to get your upper arm towards your ear. Stay here for a moment. Coming back up through warrior two. Holding here for a breath. And straighten that front left leg. Bring your hands to your hips. Bring your hips through center. And then let your right hip pop out to the right. Straightening and strengthening through this front left leg, pressing into the big toe side of the foot, and really engaging that calf up into your shin as you start to hinge your body forward, maybe reaching your arms out to the side, and then planting the back side of your left hand anywhere on the inside of your left leg. Reaching that right arm up to the sky. Finding some stability through the hips and the core. Strong legs. Two more breaths. Breathing here. Finding lengths in your triangle. I like it when the asana shapes for yoga poses are named as geometric shapes. In your triangle. Inhale, bringing your torso upright. Bringing your hands to your hips, and then turning that left leg in from the hip socket. Making sure both feet are parallel with one another. And if that wide leg stance didn't work for you, maybe bring your feet closer together or further apart. You've done this on one side already. Now we'll do it on the other, doing what feels good for you. Reaching your chest up, bending the knees slightly, maybe interlacing your hands the wrong way behind your back, not the way you normally grasp. Pressing the heels of your hands together, keeping the elbows bent, hinging at the hips, folding forward. Maybe reaching those hands away from your back, keeping those elbows bent, the heels of your hands together. One more breath. Exhale, release the hands, plant the palms underneath your face. Come up to your fingertips for a half lift. And then go ahead and walk those fingers over to the right foot, turning that right foot over towards the right, popping up onto those left toes, and stepping back into downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. And looking forward in between your hands, step, walk, or float, and feet to meet your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees slightly. Inhale, long spine, arms circle out and up overhead. And exhale, bring your hands through center. Come to Tadasana. I'm going to play around with some tree pose with some balance here. Pressing all of your weight into your left leg. Bring the sole of your right foot in to meet your left ankle. And take note of where your knee is. Keeping your hands on your hips as you come to balance on your left leg. Can you keep your hips level with one another? Level as in your hip bones are both facing forward, and also level as in your right and left sides of your hips aren't popping up and down. They're level with each other on that plane as well. So finding level hips in both planes, if you can keep doing that, maybe reaching your hand, your sole of your right foot up your leg, keeping it on the calf, or you can assist it to reach it up into your thigh. Wherever you are, pressing that foot into your leg and pressing that left leg into the ground. Keeping your hips level with one another. You can start to reach the knee out to the side if you can keep your hips level with one another, but that's not the goal. The goal here is to feel as good as a tree. Feel strength through the top part of your body. Finding stability and balance from the leg and from the core. Maybe if you want to inhale your arms out and up overhead, bringing your branches into your tree. Inhaling here, maybe closing your eyes if you want to play around with balance. One more breath. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips and release your tree. Shake out that left leg. We'll just go right over to the other side. Stamping your right foot into the ground, maybe spreading the toes. Making a wider base for yourself. Finding that strength in the leg, maybe reaching the sole of the left foot into the ankle. If you're good here, you're good here. If you need more, start walking that foot up into further up your leg, to your calf, or you can assist it to bring it all the way up into your inner thigh, pressing that left foot into the right leg, wherever it is, avoiding the knee. Keeping your hands on your hips, can you find levelness, evenness? Are your hips level forward? Are your hips level side to side? Finding level hips on those two planes. Maybe start to reach your left knee out to the left. But stop wherever it compromises your hip placement. Finding stability here, maybe looking at a non-moving point on the ground or wall in front of you. Maybe inhale, sweeping your arms out and up overhead, growing your tree branches. Finding stability here. Breathing. One more breath. And exhale, release your hands to your hips and release your left leg down to the ground. Give it a little shake, shake it out. Coming back to the front of your mat. Inhale, circle your arms out and up overhead. And then exhale, folding forward, hinging at your hips. Inhaling for a half lift. And then exhaling, stepping your feet back to a downward facing dog. Bringing your knees to the ground. And then sitting onto your heels for a moment of stillness. And then sit your butt to one side of your feet. Now bring your feet out in front of you. We did tree on our backs, we did tree standing, and now as we pull down, we're going to bring come tree sitting. So bring your right knee into your chest, sitting up tall and long here, flexing through the left leg, bringing that right foot in towards your right hip, any amount, as close as you can get it, and then let that right knee fall out to the right, and glue the sole of the right foot into that left leg, that inner left thigh. Letting that knee fall out any amount. Inhaling, turning your torso over that left leg straight and strong, flexing those left toes towards your face. Inhaling, long spine here. And exhale, hinging forward. Walking your hands on either side of your leg, any amount, keeping a long spine here, wherever feels good for you. Staying here, if you need more, maybe grabbing the sole of the foot, framing the foot, or framing opposite, grabbing with your right hand the outer edge of your foot, and then with your left hand, the inner edge, crossing at the wrists. Inhaling, finding length through your spine. And exhaling, letting gravity fold you forward. I'm going to go ahead and round into it. Release all the work. 2 breaths here. Coming up with a long spine, walking your hands up to your right foot, and then go ahead and straighten that right leg out in front of you. Both legs straight and strong. Bending your left knee and bringing your left heel in towards your left hip. Bring it in as close as you can, and then letting it fall open, gluing the left sole of the foot inside of the right thigh. Letting that knee fall out any amount. Flexing through those right toes, back towards your face. Turn your torso over your right leg. And then maybe stay here, maybe walking your hand on either side of your leg, coming forward. Keeping a long spine here, walking your hands forward any amount. Your 2 sides are always going to be different. This is my tighter side. I'm not going to go as far. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to do what feels good. I'm going to find that good stretch and hold it there. Maybe grabbing the foot if you did it on the other side, or if it feels right. Finding what feels good. Not too intense to the hamstring. You can always bend the knee here. Finding what feels good for your body. Inhaling the long spine and exhale, moving around, fold into it. Inhale, walk yourself back up, right. Bring the soles of your feet together. A little bit of Baddha Konasana bound angle here. Sitting up tall, bringing your heels in towards your hips. Sitting up tall, maybe leaning forward. Interlacing your fingers together and then wrapping your hands around your feet. Gluing your feet together. Bending at the hips, any amount. Just 1 breath here. Then reaching your legs forward, scooching yourself so that you can come down onto your back, hugging your knees into your chest. Rocking side to side, finding some length through the spine, massaging out the lower back. You can stay here, or if you'd like to grab the outer edges of your feet with your fingers and reach the sole of the feet up to the sky, pulling your knees into your armpits. A little happy baby. Trying to reach your tailbone to the ground. Maybe rocking side to side. And coming into stillness to your Shavasana. Reaching your legs long out in front of your hips. Coming into what feels good for you. If this classic Shavasana shape isn't right for you, it doesn't matter. Change it up, get comfortable. We're going to take a few breaths here, finding stillness. You should be proud of yourself for doing something good for yourself. Yoga is a practice. It's never perfect, and it never needs to look a certain way. Letting go of those expectations that everything needs to look a certain way from the outside. Tune inward and see how it looks from the inside. If a pose isn't right for you from the inside, if something feels wrong, change it up. You can apply that to life too. Notice things from the inside. How does it feel? Don't judge yourself as an external. Judge yourself from internal and see what you can do to respect. We only get this one body, this one life. Honor it. Releasing the muscles around your eyes. Stretch and wiggle the fingers and the toes. You can always stay in your Shavasana if you like. Or if it's right for you, start to bend your knees and hug your knees into your chest one more time. Reaching your left arm long in line with your left ear. Roll over to the left, using your arm as a pillow. And then pressing yourself up with your right hand. Come up through seated. Legs crossed if that's alright with you. Sukhasana, easy sitting pose. Keeping your eyes closed, inhaling your head long, reaching to the sky, finding a long spine here. Maybe bring your hands to your heart. Honor and respect for yourself and your body. Honor and respect you from a place of honor and respect. Or namaste. All right, thank you for tuning in. It is always a treat to be doing some Tuesday morning yoga. All of my virtual classes right now are by donation. So if you'd like to donate through Venmo, it's Ev Weezer, just like the username here on the YouTube. And 60% of those donations I send off to local businesses and charities each week. You can send me a recommendation for to support a different charity if you'd like. And have a great day. I'll post some more details in the description below. Thanks for tuning in.